Hello, Ms. Chibwe. This is Alka from Global Women Power and Nancy with us. We are our next episode of Meet Our Sheroes. It's part of Global Women Power. And the idea behind Meet Our Sheroes YouTube and video cast is we want to meet with women, those who have done it, in spite of all the odds, and they stood on their own terms and became successful. So this interview is always very raw, where we just take up the questions which occur to us right at the moment, and so that others can also relate in its originality, and take some inspiration from it. So our organization is called Global Women Power, and we established it in 2015. So now we are, say, about 4 to 5 countries. Our whole idea is to help women, financial independence and social independence as well. So the way we run this program is that it is over to you, and tell us, what you're doing today and how did your journey start and where are you going with this vision?
All right, thank you so much. It's actually a pleasure that you invited me to come and speak with you and just share about what I do. I think who I am and where I want to go with everything that I do on a daily basis, or what I want to do for the foreseeable future.
Yes.
So first I have to start introducing myself so that you get to know who I am. I start saying I'm a mother and of one son. He's 27. I'm a friend. I'm a sister. I'm an aunt. And everything else at least makes me who I am. I'm a friend. And those I treasure very highly because they have allowed me to become who I am, and they've helped me in my journey. And when I'm up, they are with me. And when I'm down, they are with me. And that is what I've appreciated. I'm originally from Zambia. And the other thing you have to know is I'm a twin. I have a twin brother as well.
Oh.
Yeah, who's 45 minutes younger than me. Yes. So what am I doing presently? And what is my passion? In everything that I do, leadership is core to my values. And leadership in terms of valuing people, ensuring that people are treated not fairly. It cannot be equal, but fairly, just like I would like to be treated. And you may be asking yourself where did this all come from? I think I was raised in a family of 10 children.
Wow.
Yeah, there were 8 girls and 2 boys. One of them is my twin brother and the last one. So with that, my parents valued collaboration so that we work together. As women, I think maybe many of you will understand. As we were born, many people would ask, what will women do for you? Right? And my parents were very cool. He said, they may be women, but they will do something. And they believed in educating the woman child. And that they always told us, go as high as you can. Don't limit yourself, and never allow anybody to limit your potential. And they were leaders themselves, they were politicians themselves, but at least they gave us those values of belonging, one, hard work, which we saw with our own hands, and we participated in the family businesses. And that actually built us. And for me, it really built me, and that's what I emulate, and that's where my foundation is all about. But who I became a scientist. And when I started back in Zambia, and I worked under somebody that I admire a lot, somebody who is my mentor, somebody who allowed me to become the plant breeder. And I'm going to define what that is, to become a plant breeder. And the plant breeder is a person that develops or improves the crops so that they can be either disease-free, they can yield more per acre or per hectare, so that at least we can feed the world. And because of what plant breeding does, which means contributing to feeding the world, contributing to making things different, so that anybody maybe can take something and grow it. I think that is part of, as well, my journey as I work for corporate organization. I think that continues to be a core of me. Dr. Bema inspired me. I was his right-hand person. He allowed me to do things when I asked I would like to do this. He allowed me to reign and hone those skills. And he helped me, empowered me in many, many regards. And he allowed me to have a voice at the same time. So he did not stop me or anything. As a young 22-year-old girl, when I came, I think that was marvelous to have somebody who empowers me. And today, Dr. Bema has become not only my mentor, but he's also a friend as well. So that is where my foundation in terms of what discipline I took to become a plant breeder and to be a person who emulated what he did, but try to take it at a higher level so that I can not only make him proud, but make myself proud, contribute to the organizations that I work for, but more importantly, contribute to feeding the world with the products that I worked on with the teams collaboratively to make those varieties come to reality. There are other mentors that I had during my journey into my science wood. One of them, when I joined the company, when I did my PhD, was Diane Mather. Diane Mather was my supervisor, my PhD supervisor. And you see, I smile when I talk about these people because, to be honest, they bring warmth to me even when I'm talking about them. Because what they did is, she's another person who realized that I don't have to micromanage this person. I can just allow her to come to me, and if I asked, she was there. If I needed something, she was there. Financially, by that time when I started my PhD, to be honest, I was living on a shoestring. I didn't have enough money, right? But she was there to support me wherever she saw something. She would find resources. I said, Chibwe, here it is. When they returned money to our program, she would look, oh, this is Chibwe's money. She will give me, whereas some other supervisors put it back in their projects. So you can see how Diane Mather contributed not only to my financial, but to my growth as a scientist. And today, as I said, she's also my sister and a friend as well. And Steve Thompson, when I joined Dow AgroSciences, he hired me when I joined Dow AgroSciences in 1999 as a plant breeder. That was my first plant breeder job after my postdoc.
You're a physicist?
No, I'm a plant breeder. A plant breeder, B-R-E-E-D-E-R.
Agriculture. Yes.
Agriculture, yes. So I develop crops. I cross them and select the better ones and improve them. Yes, that's what I used to do, although I've moved out into management. So he really was one person who I'll come up with ideas and send it to him. He'll look at it, sometimes pushes it back, then I'll push and justify. Then he say, oh, come on, go for it. Mm-hmm. But, those are people that allow you to really use your innovative ability, your creativity, mm-hmm. and know that you are contributing. They know that you're contributing. They know that you are working hard. They know that you are also helping others to grow. But even during this work, when I was working and developing varieties, I truly believed in teaching others. I truly believed that I'm not the only one working. And where does this come from? When you were young, my parents always said, one, knowledge does not just come from the hill to their table. It goes both ways. And always respect everybody who you see or you touch, even the person who is sweeping your road or your floor, because they are making you look good. And that I took it with me all the time as I bred, as I became a leader. And when Tao allowed me to get to know who I am, and how did they allow me to get to know who I am? By allowing us to go through personality assessments. That was my first time. I was a driver. And, when you're a driver working with amiables, there's that. And I didn't know all those things because I was using my driver tendencies without modifying them in people who are amiable. For the drivers, it was okay. But for people who are amiable, it was like, this. And until I went through that, that's when I realized, oh my God, I need to change. I need to grow because yes, I do things, I care about people, but I can't use the same style from one person to the other. I have to change. And I'll be honest with you, the driver tendency still is there, but learn to modify such that you can meet the other people. And that became my journey to want to become a trainer, to want to become somebody who can coach. And speaking is something that I always loved. So it just became enhanced by being part of Toastmaster and continues to be part of Toastmaster because it helps me all the time. So that's how I came to wanting to be a trainer. And when I was still with the Dow AgroSciences, which is the corporate world, I started, they put me on their TTT, which is train the trainer, so that I could be teaching unconscious bias. But I didn't finish to go through that training. And then from there, I lost my position. But one thing I always believed in is if things happen to us, but how I responded to it depended on me. And that's the 10-90 rule. And to me, I truly believe in that. Is it hard? Of course, yes. It's very hard. Is it easy? Not always. There are some days when you cry. But I firmly believe in my God. And my faith is very strong because it started when I was young. My parents were. And that's my anchor. So that anchors me to be able to maybe justify. It may not work for everybody, but it does work very well for me. Because I look at myself and I say, you know what? I am blessed. Because when I look at what I have, right? And when I look at somebody who doesn't have even the little bit of what I have, and I say that, I think for me, I can still weather. But I have to be strong and I have to continue moving on the path despite what has happened to me. So that is I think Saturday, the topic that we discussed, I think myself and Annie, I don't know whether you have interviewed Annie, we actually partnered together to give this workshop on the attitude and the heart of leadership. Because to me, that is very important that as leaders, despite what we are going through, we need to have an attitude that is positive, an attitude of resilience, of valuing others, of empowering others, and just making an environment that is conducive for people to thrive in. And that, I think I can go on and on, but I'll let you ask some questions.
Okay. So I'm still, stuck on the point of you being a plant breeder.
Okay.
Of course, this I should be familiar with, but I haven't talked to somebody who's really a plant breeder.
Okay.
So when we go and check out all the products, we always look for non-GMO kind of thing. So when you breed, does that mean genetically modifying them or something else?
Both.
They don't reproduce. It's frustrating, the seeds.
Pardon?
The seeds don't reproduce. A lot of farmers in India were, they lost a lot. And
I think I may be defending this. They may think I'm defending, but I'll speak to that, because as a breeder who values feeding the world, I know that maybe some of the things that have been done may have contributed to that. But you have to also look at it from the other side, is that right now we have so many diseases. And some of the diseases, if we don't use some of the resources that are available, which encompasses genetic engineering, we may not be able to feed the world that is growing. And for that, when we go through this science, we have to prove. It takes years. It doesn't take 1 year. It takes years, because there are regulations that are put in place. And when you test things, they have to be what they call the null, which is the product that came through maybe the genetic engineering. It has to be similar, except for the gene of interest, and the gene of interest that is targeted to just improve, to just combat what you're wanting to combat, whether it's disease or insects. That is what I know about science. Unfortunately, instead, sometimes I hear, this is going to happen. Yes, it has happened in some instances, and nothing is perfect. And there will be cases when, yes, maybe it has gone that side, but I don't know what happened in that case. But whatever I've worked on, for me, what I've seen also is there are also regulations in that when you do, especially like in corn, when you do this modification, you need to have 5% of that has to be regular, such that you continue to have the populations of insect and other things still to be able to survive. So all these things are being mitigated, and the sustainability is actually at the core of what we do. So that is what I know. And you may hear something very different on the contrary to what I'm saying. So that's all I can say.
Are they working on letting these GMO products be able to reproduce? Is that one that?
Yeah, they do. They do reproduce.
So this must be a recent thing.
Yeah, no, it has been always like that. They do reproduce, I think, and that's why, because if they don't reproduce, then how can they sell seed on a year-to-year basis? So there may be some that, whenever you do something, sometimes it happens, even in nature. You remember, we plant things, and sometimes whatever used to produce more is not producing anymore. Something because of hybridization, things are mixing, and it may have combined with something else. So I don't know. And I don't know, for those that did not reproduce, what happened, I can't tell. But what work I think I've seen, my experiences with what I've done, because I worked on the trade aspect. I've bred as well, and I've led breeders, but in some that have not, I think, who have in vegetables, mostly they don't have much, they don't like the company I worked with best, there's no GMO at all. They don't trade.
And do you care when you go and buy for yourself? Do you also like us?
I eat everything.
You don't care?
No. I eat, when I say, I think they say organic. See, my mother, and I can go back to organic. And yes, there's organic. My mother was a true organic. My sister was a soil scientist. And my mother's garden, we had a 1 acre land, 1 hectare. And that house was there. Part of it, my mother used to do gardening and sell the vegetables, like lettuce. She used to buy rape. She used to buy cabbages, onions, tomatoes, and all other things, and sell them on wholesale. The marketeers used to come and buy from at our garden. My mother never used fertilizer. So when people talk about organic, I understand, because my mother was one person who declined using fertilizers. But that's the way she was, because she believed so much in organic. We'll go and help her in the field. We'll collect leaves, we'll collect grasses, and she would make some dugouts. She would put the soil on, and then she would put, because she used to compost.
Yeah.
And she will put the compost so that she can activate, so that it can start decomposing fast. What I'll tell you, my mother never went to school. My mother couldn't read and write, but my mother was the best breeder that I've ever seen in terms of what she did. My mother is the best, I think, in terms of fruits. She propagated the wonderful fruits which we had constant basis. So from organic, I understand it. We need both. I can't say we just need a conventional. For me, I say we need both so that we can cater to the customers that need both products. But we also have to realize that organic alone will never feed the world. So we need both sides to be able to coexist.
But it's been feeding the world for thousands of years.
It has been, but remember the environment has changed tremendously. Environment, we are having diseases, we are having things that can wipe out a lot of things easily. And when we are growing organic, you don't want to spray, you don't want, so the insect pressure, if it's hard, then what do you do? When you have weeds, what do you do? So those are some of the things that we really need both sides. For those people who want organic, let's serve them. And I think the market for organic is growing, and it has been there, and it has continued to be there, and it will never go back. So for me, I believe in having both systems to coexist.
I wish the prices were the same.
Yeah, but you have to understand that when you're growing organic, is because you cannot.
Challenging.
You have to keep, a lot of things is the insects. You have to, the pressure, a lot of things that you have to put people to weed in there so that so the cost actually of producing can be slightly higher. So for that, I do understand where they are coming from.
So I will talk about, raw milk, though that is not the topic, but all the women will like this, food. And that's what we are most of the time in the kitchen and feeding our families. So California is the only state where raw milk can be sold. Maybe you know that, right?
Yes.
No other state is allowed to sell raw milk. So in Fresno, there is a farm which sells raw milk. It's called Horizon. So I traveled all the way from Fremont to Fresno to be.
Texas, they sell it. When I go with mine, they have it, raw milk.
Okay, so then they showed us 600 cows, and they had a huge land over there for cows. Those are fertile, those are in the whatever different stages they are in. And she said that they are being inspected so thoroughly by FDA. Now every time they can walk in and check all the samples and everything.
Yes.
And I did feel the difference, otherwise if I drink milk and then I feel heavier, but that milk was, just blending with me. So I could understand that, nature's products, and then you take them in the native form and how they blend with you. And if something is changed, so it's hard to digest. So ever since then, my whole journey had been finding the real seed. I'm so passionate about that. But then listening to you that you don't care is changing my, viewpoint a little on that.
Yeah.
So am I being fussy, or it's okay to have both ways? So
yeah, I think I remember one of my friends. I used to live in Minnesota by that time, so I invited them. I used to have the African, because there are a few of us in there, and sometimes we just needed to come, the Africans, and sit down. So there were like 5 of us in the city where I used to live. So when she came, she asked me what I did. Then she said, "Oh, you're a GMO." And I said, "Okay." But then the one time we went to the gym together and I said, "Sit down, let me explain to you exactly." So, "Oh, okay." I said, "Yeah." So yeah, the thing is, as like anything else, you will see how the news, the media, it's just throwing without explaining a lot of things. And there are times when I see the people who speak, I think for me, it's okay, go and speak the positive and negative of both sides, right? But in many cases, we are just giving people the ugly side that they want to hear and then sway the individuals, which is not the best way. Things have to be done because the cost and everything, I think all those have to be taken into consideration.
Nancy, can you
So
carry
that's my spiel.
Nancy, do you have any questions?
Oh, yeah, your dissertation, was it an inventive thing that the world benefits from? Was it like George Washington Carver had over 100 uses of the peanut? So
no, my dissertation, I think, was, to me, what I always tell people, that the first people who wrote, who had the new ideas were the inventors, those who did it a long time ago. Mine was actually breeding for resistance to Fusarium, which is one of the diseases, and also trying that is in corn or maize. Yeah, so it was something that is needed, was practical. I think we needed to find what are the mechanisms of resistance to the toxin, because Fusarium itself produces toxins that can harm the human being. So it's looking, when we have resistant varieties, are they producing, if they are infested even a little bit, do we have toxins that are being produced? And I think that was some of the contribution, and that was done to say, yes, I think the toxins are there, but they're minimal as compared to what has been produced. Was it something where you say, oh, it's off the road chart? No, I can't say that. But it was fascinating to do that, to learn more about the disease, the pathology. And for me, when I started my PhD, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to do something to do with pathology, to do with molecular science, because that's when it was, biotechnology, because that's when it was coming in, and the platform was breeding, because that's my core.
So I have a question. It's a concern with a lot of natural healers and natural eaters. There's a paranoia of putting vaccines into agriculture. They're already doing it in pork. And they're saying the purpose of this is to make us have more diseases so that the pharmaceuticals will collect more money from us. What is your take on all of that?
My take on this is that, to me, because I'm looking at it from a more practical point of view, that if an animal can help us to produce the vaccine that we need to heal, and those animals can be eaten afterwards, there's no harm to them. I think let's do what we can to sustain and to help our people and to reduce the cost of this medication. Because if they go and just say, okay, we can take it from the plant or from something else, the yield is very low and therefore it becomes more expensive.
The idea is very good, but there's the skepticism. They're doing it to plant diseases to make us get cancer and other things. I mean, there's no such thing as perfectly practiced science, but
yeah, I think it's true. And I think science is practiced by actually infesting something else in order to get. So the science that we do is can be destructive, can be this, but in the end, I think we have to look at the positiveness of that science. What is the overall goal of that particular science? Is it going to help human being? Is it going, because look at the number of diseases that we have. And if we can have medicine that is just so expensive, how many can afford? I think many of us, even when we have jobs, I think if we did not have insurance, I'll tell you, if you were just a month ago, because my job with BSF ended in October because the company went through restructuring. And for 7 months, I had to pay my own insurance. and the insurance is about $900. How many people can afford to pay that amount on a monthly basis?
Very few.
Yeah, and that's why to me, when we look at science, I say we always have to look from the positive angle. I think there are some people who, in anything that will do things because of their selfish nature. But mostly some of the organization, what they're doing is how can this medicine, how can we reduce cost? Those are some of the things to me I'm looking at. And if that's the purpose, then I think we are following.
So how can you help the women folk from Global Women Power by taking under your wings, what help they can get from you?
I think the help they can get from me, because one of the things that I do and I've done for the longest time is mentoring. Yeah. For me, mentoring in terms of leadership, because that is something that I really truly value. And I don't just speak of it, I walk it. I do. And that's what I want to see. I've seen leaders that pinpoint at everything what you do. Those people are not leaders. What I've realized is we are given sometimes in our walk of life, regardless of where you are, even in our own families, we have differences. But those differences can be ironed. We can talk about it, and sometimes may not. But there are times when I see how families, over something very little, they will never speak to each other. And to me, it starts from our families. And that's what I said. When I raised my son, he's the only one. I made sure that I'm not going to spoil him, but I will give him what I got from my parents. I'll give him love. I'll be there to support him. So I was my son's first coach to coach him. And I loved it. I'll go and work and go coaching. Sometimes we are coming back midnight, 1 a.m. Then I'm back to do some work so that they don't wait on me. I loved it. I was the best cheerleader. But it's not only my son that I was coaching, right? But to me, it's his friends became my children too, because I wanted the best. When they were playing, I didn't just cheer my son. I cheered everybody because it was a team. So to me, those values are very core. And this is what I've instilled in my son. My son is doing medicine. He's in the 4th year of medical school. And I've told him, you are given this ability. When you get there, use it so that you help people. Don't take it to your head, because these blessings that the Lord gives us so that we can use it to empower others, to help other people. And sometimes people don't need much, just a little bit that we need. So to me, that's where I can come from in terms of mentoring. I love mentoring, and some people are just mentor for, they're not, it's not formal. I love training for leadership. I also belong to a group within the National Association of Plant Breeders. So what we do there, we also have what they call the commercial group. And with that group as well, we started going to university, which we call behavioral-based training. What we wanted, behavioral-based interviewing. What we wanted is to go to people who are plant breeders like us, scientists in the university. And we started with the University of Texas.
What's the name of it? National Council of what? I didn't catch that.
National Association of Plant Breeders.
Oh, plant breeders, okay.
Yeah, it's NAPB, yeah. So we started, but this is a commercial, there are several committees, and the committee I belong to is the commercial committee. So we started that with somebody by the name of Klaus from Koteva, and somebody, Rick Harrison from Driscoll, and myself were the three, because we had to say what are the initiative, and for us, that's the initiative that was very core to us. And we started our first journey, and the first one was very, very good. And we have continued to do that, to go and present what is the industry wanting,
Mm.
How can you get a job, so that we start preparing others, the new generation that will start taking the jobs that we have and lead us forward to developing the variety. So if we are so passionate about the discipline that we love so much, we need to give back. And it has been one of the most fulfilling, especially when we go and we come out, we really feel that we are giving back to the science that we believe in. So that's what I can do. It's mentoring. It's not just mentoring in terms of my science. It's mentoring in terms of how do we, maybe sometimes it's just lending my ear. The person just wants you to listen.
Do you have any website for that purpose?
I have actually, I started the Banyan Tree Skills Academy. And the banyan tree, I take it because of what the tree stands for, right? It proliferates, right?
Mm.
And one tree, it's like there are many trees. And that's what I would like this organization that I started to really do.
Mm.
I'm very passionate. I want to focus more on the youth.
Mm.
And why? Because the youth are the leaders of today and tomorrow.
Yeah.
And to me, that's what I want to do. I also want to go like Zambia. I'm trying to work with my sister like on the weekend, but unfortunately now they are load shedding because of electrical. So it's becoming very difficult. I want to start with her because my sister is very, very engaged, and she's my older sister. She's 13 years older than me.
Mm.
So I want to sort of partner with her so that we can bring youth from a congregation like Catholic, and she's really into the Catholic system, so she can really bring this message of how do we, for the youth, valuing each other, being intentional, do be consistent in what we do, hard work, and all those things. So that's what I'm also trying to do start with Zambia and then eventually branch out to other countries. That's what I would like to do.
Beautiful.
Sometimes it's just giving the speech and we sit like this and start talking so that they ask questions and then give a speech so that's what I would love to do.
How did you become a regional director of Toastmasters? Is it a competition or is it a volunteer thing, or do they just appoint?
It's a volunteer thing. So what happens, when I started, many people don't want to take up these responsibilities. So when I started, was for my division, as the division director, I was it. So, but you are voted in, although you are, you are the only one, yes. But to me, again, I've taken roles in Toastmaster because Toastmaster has helped me tremendously. I used to be the person who spoke very fast. So, yes, yes. And people will say, Chibwe, slow down, slow down. And use of R's and M's, because when we speak, you see that the R's and M's can really distort the communication. And for me, that has really helped me. The evaluations that I get from my individual Toastmasters who just want to improve just like me, I think I take those seriously. And I think I've been in Toastmaster for long, and I love to give back, and that's why I stay in Toastmaster. And taking up this leadership is one way, because I'm responsible for about 20 clubs in my division. I work with the division directors who are the ones who are really closer to the clubs who oversee. But I also make sure that I visit those clubs so that they can go know me, and if they have any questions, they can ask questions. But my goal is, how can we do this together? How do we partner to make things differently?
Miss Chibwe, is really nice, listening to you, because I could tell both of us were really intrigued and, plant breeder, genetically modified, and then changing people's lives. Oh my God, too many things to ask from. you, and you answered all of them beautifully.
Thank you.
And once your website or things ready, please share with us.
Yes, yes, it's up. I will share the website
Yeah.
with you.
You want to say the name right now?
It's Banyan Tree Skills Academy.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. Yes. So if you go there, because I'm also a consultant in terms of disc with Maxwell disc, not the other disc, Maxwell disc. So my goal that I want to use wherever I'm planted, if I can use it, I'll use it because I really want to help others.
Let me spell it out. Banyan. Banyan.
Yeah, I can copy. Let me copy the. Let me try if I can open this and just copy the website and then give it to you. I'll put it in the chat.
Yes, you can put in the chat.
Yes.
She could share the screen too, but I don't know how much time is left. Oh, we
Banyan
have
Tree
10 minutes.
Skills.
You want me to share the screen?
Yeah, 1 second.
Okay, blow it up and share the screen. Can I share? Cause something. Okay.
Yes.
Share. Can you see?
Beautiful picture.
So this is the Banyan Tree. It says an eighth Banyan Tree Skills Academy, a unique entity, mirrors the massive banyan tree's lateral growth and intricate propagation. Like the tree, the Academy's purpose is to shelter, spark, and nurture continuous growth in individuals, fostering a chain of valuable proliferation within and between individuals.
Beautiful.
So there, if you go there, you can go, you'll find all these things, and then you'll find some of the things that I offer. But I'm working, so I'm not in full force, but I can, my goal is to do it after hours. If I can do anything after hours, then I'll do it. Whether I do it free or what, that I'm fine, because for me it's disseminating and also helping others.
So this tree is indicative of your nation, right?
No, it's, I think it's more Indian, right? It's
Right.
It's Indian.
Because this is the tree in India, people sit under this. This tree might be called as the tree of wisdom.
Yes, yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
So
it's one of the trees, if you remember when, I think in Maui, is it Maui, when they had the fire?
Oh, it's still alive.
It's still alive.
Yes. Thank you very much, and we'll meet again some other time and then know more about you, and also recommend women's, those who are in this program, that to take native wisdom from you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
That is the most important thing. So I will also try to be in touch with you, know more about your academy.
Okay, that's
And
wonderful.
thank you.
No, thank you so much. I really appreciate you giving me the audience and there's just the opportunity to not only meet the two lovely ladies who are doing wonderful things, to magnify the women, so that you can see what we can do for each other,
Yes.
for others, and especially for the young daughters that we are having, wherever we can, if we can mentor them. I think for me, that's something that I love so much. So if you have those ideas where you say, I think we are young ones would like to be mentored, I think those are the areas that I can support you in your quest to reach out to more women that can make a difference in the young child we call a daughter.
Yes, I will share you as a resource to them and also introduce them to you.
Okay. No. Thank you very much, Nancy and Dr. Alka of Chopra. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you too.
Yes.